When we look at what new homes are going to think about and what the industry is going to change to as we build new construction and new homes is really an interesting evolution. And I think we're starting to see it at a really interesting rate. In about 2005 or 6, there was a Architecture 2030 set a standard to say we should build houses that meet a zero energy goal by the year 2030. So we are at 2015 at this point. So we really have 15 years to go to build houses that consume the same amount of energy as they produce. So what was interesting is when that early goal was put in place, many people said it couldn't be done or it'll be incredibly expensive. Right now, the state of California is going to require that houses get to a zero energy score by the year 2020. So that means they have 5 years to get to that location and that model. There are builders nationwide that are building houses that are net zero scores. So with the evolution of what we're seeing is that houses now have to become remarkably efficient to let solar offset the electrical consumption the house has. And we can do that. I would say we're seeing more things that are starting to move towards exterior insulation. That's probably what we'll see as we look at wall systems. They won't get necessarily thicker as much as they'll add insulation to the outside. So a 2x4 or 2x6 wall will have 2-3 inches of insulation outside of it, and then the cladding will get attached to it. And I would say that when we look at the research center in Alaska, the Cold Climate Housing Research Center, and all the other research centers around the world that are looking at building enclosures, we'll see the exterior insulation product come into play. Products like Dow or Roxul, those would be products that now get mounted to the outside. We call it, there's a fellow named Dr. Joe Stieberk who's created a wall assembly called the perfect wall. The perfect wall was a wall that dries quickly and is thermally efficient. What that is a framed wall with insulation on the outside and a lot of it. What that does, it makes the wall cavity comfortable and warm, not prone to wall condensation. It holds up better and performs remarkably well. Now all the conductive loss of the framing has been offset by the insulation on the outside. Those buildings are more comfortable, substantial reduction in energy use. Talk about a good performing assembly. So I think what we'll see, the Europeans, for example, in Germany have come up with Passive House. Passive House is an incredibly well insulated enclosure that's extremely airtight. The Passive House Institute, now located in the US, has been certifying houses nationwide for the last 2 years, and the numbers are going way up. We're seeing that the consumers are saying, I would really like a high performance house. I'm going to drive a Tesla, I'm going to drive an efficient car, and I want to live in an efficient house. I would say the future of what we'll see over the next 5, 10, 15, and even 20 years in the housing market, we'll really watch some innovation in product and methodology and techniques to build extraordinarily high performance houses. And I think we're going to see that evolution because it's already started in other parts of the country and in the world. It'll start evolving much more quickly, and more builders will start adopting that prior to and ahead of, I think, code. In Washington State and in Oregon, we see the code changes starting to move in that direction. The newest codes, the 2015 codes and the 2017 codes and beyond, will really begin improving the performance of buildings overall, holistic ways of looking at energy targets. The 2015 code basically says you need a home energy rating score, HERS score, of about 56 to 58 points. So instead of picking all the details you have to follow, you'll have a performance metric. How many BTUs per square foot does this house consume? And however you can get there to the lowest number, that's the product we'll see in the future. So I think it's an exciting time to watch this evolution of today's new homes and even existing houses move towards a high performance criteria. It's an exciting time for housing in this country.